God, whatever your will is, I want her to be my wife. I don't trust women. Why? What happened? So Dwayne, I slept with someone else. So confused, bombarded, and shocked. Dwayne, I'm sorry. Like, you betrayed me. That was a mistake you should have never made. Like that, I forgive, but I'm not gonna forget. Yes. I'm gonna be her ass. I'm gonna be his ass. My mind, and it's gonna be on. I do not want to get that. I do not want to have kids. I rather be alone. Hey y'all, it's your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Dwayne O'Neal Robinson, back at it again with another YouTube video. Listen, if this is your first time clicking onto my channel, I want to thank you and I want to welcome you to DOR Space. This is a space and a place where you get to experience me live my authentic self through cinematic art. And if you can just be so gracious and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell. Therefore, every time when I upload, you will get a notification. Thank you to all my subscribers. And without any further ado, here is part 2 of She Cheated. I dropped my head down and I said, Monica slept with someone else. Miss Brown goes off. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I can't stand that beat. I knew it. I'm gonna go up there right now this weekend. I'm gonna go up there now this weekend and I'm gonna beat her ass. I'm gonna be his ass. And it's gonna be on. Let me call my boyfriend right now. She calls her boyfriend. Yo, babe, you won't believe what happened. Monica cheated on Dwayne. Dwayne, what's his name? Do you know him? Look him up. Ask your people. We finna find him out. We gonna drive up there this weekend. So her boyfriend is like, yo, for real? No, that ain't right. Yeah, we finna pull up. And I'm like, whoa. Time out, flag on the play. We're good. We don't gotta do that. It's fine. Like, it's good. We're gonna work it out. How she gonna sleep with another man and you out here slaving, working, trying to build and get yourself established for her, and this is what she gonna do? No, Mr. Robinson. No, I'm telling you, if I see her, and if I see him, it's going down. Looking back at it, I could laugh because I was just like, yo, I'd never experienced anything like that. I was like, I appreciate you being down. I appreciate you having my back, but it ain't even got to be all that. We're good. Like, I'm good. She's good. We're good. So the next day, she comes knocking on my door again. Yo, Mr. Robinson. She shows me the phone and she was just like, is this him? Now, it's a gentleman that has the same exact name as the gentleman that Monica slept with, right? So because Miss Brown and her boyfriend were so hype and passionate, I was just like, yeah, that's him. That's him. And I know how the gentleman looked, and that gentleman was not him. So she was just like, you don't got to worry about him. You ain't got to worry about him. He ain't nobody, no way. He ain't even worth my time. And he ain't even worth my man time to beat him down. I was just like, cool, all the better. Because I didn't want no smoke. Okay? I ain't want no smoke. Because they were literally, Miss Brown and her man, they were about to go, like, they were really serious. So I go and I see Monica, and I tried. I really tried, and she tried really hard, but I just couldn't look at her the same. I couldn't. Romantically, I just was really hurt, and I didn't even have the words to even formulate to say anything. Came back home, aunt passes away, right? So that's a big blow. And I got to teach these baby kids who I love to death, and they needed me. And now I'm like, my relationship is on the rocks, and what is going, I'm just hurt, like hurt, but I can't show it. I gotta work. I got a lot of people depending on me. I gotta be strong. I gotta be stoic as a man. So boom. Comes October, and in the month of October, you know, Monica and I have a conversation because we weren't really talking that much. I became distant and led to a fueled, explosive argument. And I remember saying to her, because she was just like, Dwayne, I'm sorry. Like, you're holding this against me. I'm trying. You came up here. You didn't want to hug me. You didn't want to kiss me. I felt you were so cold. And I'm like, how can I do that? You betrayed me. Not, I mean, when we were younger, but now that we older, I thought you changed. And she was like, I did change, but I made a mistake. And I was just like, that was a mistake you should have never made. She was just pleading her case. And I remember snapping and saying these words: you don't love me. You don't respect me. You don't deserve me. You're stressing me. You hurt me. And I don't want to do this anymore. And I remember her getting quiet. And she says, okay, Dwayne, I don't want to cause any pain to you. I don't want to cause any hurt to you. Let's just not tell our families about this. Let's just be amicable and let's just cool off, you know? And from that, I closed that door. I didn't see, speak, or hear from Monica for years. Now, at this time, what ends up happening is Alicia is back in the picture, but Alicia is in a committed relationship. But that relationship is on the rocks. So Alicia and I have a trauma bond, right? Because I just broke up with Monica. And Alicia wasn't fond that I was back in a relationship with Monica from the jump. So I would talk to Alicia and she would talk to me about her relationship woes, and I would talk to her about my feelings and all of that. And Alicia was really, really there for me, because when you get cheated on, you start to question everything about yourself, right? And once I did my investigation and I saw who that gentleman was and what he was affiliated with and how he looked, and I realized we were the polar opposite. And the biggest thing that he had up on me was body gain. He was jacked. I was like really, really skinny. Now I don't look nothing how I looked back then at that time. So it made me feel inferior, not insecure, but inferior. I felt robbed. I felt as if everything that I was anticipating, everything that I was hoping for, it was taken away from me. And I think that's in life, that's what sucks the most, is that when you're anticipating for something and you're hoping for something, just like a couple that suffer from a miscarriage, we only hear about the woman, right? But what about the man? The man was anticipating this child too. He's hurting too. But again, in the society that we live in, we don't have an open space in place to express our emotions as a man. So who did I confide in? Alicia. And what ended up happening was Alicia and I, you know, got really, really tight again. And she called me up and was just like, yo, D, because she's a fashionista. She was just like, yo, D, Black Friday coming up. And this was at the time before Cyber Monday wasn't really a big thing. But she hits me up and was just like, yo, D, come with me to Black Friday shopping. I'm like, yeah, matter of fact, I need to buy some clothes too. You know, I need to buy some things too. And she was just like, okay, cool. Like, And we got up like 3 o'clock in the morning. She said, I'm going to come and pick you up. And we were together the whole entire day, shopping, talking, laughing. And it really, really made me feel good. Like, really made me forget about Monica and all of that and work and all the stresses of life. She just made me feel great. And, I didn't think anything of it because at the time, I know that she was in a committed relationship. So what ended up happening was she moved away and decided to come back home because things within the relationship started to get very tumultuous as well. So I was just like, yo, man, listen, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. So she hits me up one day and was just like, hey, D, I got some tickets to a Broadway show. You want to come with me? I was just like, sure, I'll come with you. Not a problem. And oddly enough, during that Broadway show, everywhere we went, everyone was saying, oh my goodness, you guys are such a beautiful couple. Oh my goodness, you guys look so good together. Oh my goodness, you all dress so nice. Oh my goodness, Black excellence. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, yo, I'm sitting here thrown off and she's looking at me thrown off. And I'm like, this is weird. But there was a particular song being played and the chemistry between she and I was at an all-time high. And I'm like, this is weird. I need to exit stage left. And what ended up happening is Alicia and I end up in a relationship. She leaves her man. Me and her are together. And for a good amount of years, we were together. Now, I left out a very important detail. When I was with Monica, remember I told you Monica wanted a purity ring? Well, but I got her rain boots instead. I actually did purchase an engagement ring. And I'm like, dang, who can I give this to? What am I going to do with this? So from there, I was just like, yo, you know what? I think you're deserving of this. I didn't propose to Alicia, but I was just like, yo, I want you to have this. Alicia found out through my mother, because my mother went through my things, and she revealed to Alicia that I purchased a ring, and she wanted to know who it was for. So when I gave Alicia the ring, she already knew that it was meant for Monica, but she was just like, she just played dumb, right? So it's going well, right? And one day, out of the blue, started to notice that Alicia started to get distant. And she hits me up one day and she was just like, Dwayne, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And when I tell you, I was so crushed. I literally clocked out of work and pulled up to her job, and I was just like, I don't understand. What did I do? What happened? And she said, I just can't be the woman that you want me to be or need me to be. And at that time, I couldn't understand it. But looking back at it now is the fact that she didn't get to heal from that past relationship. She just hopped out of one relationship and went into and came into it with me. So I think that knight in shining armor, that hero syndrome, that hero effect, rubbed off. And she said she didn't want to be with me. And I literally at that time was just like, yo, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I started losing my hair. I got sick. I lost weight. I was just like, I can't do this again. Right. And for me as a man, I really learned that these women were great. They're beautiful. And we're still cool to this day. You know, they're the right woman for someone else, but the wrong woman for me. Right. So shortly after Alicia and I split, I'm eating with Cam, right? I'm eating with Cam at Steak and Shake early in the morning, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, because, you know, we would hang out randomly like that. And we're eating and we chopping it up and we talking. And all of a sudden, Cam gets dead silent. And I'm like, what's going on, Cam? And Cam turns to me and gives me his phone, and I see Monica, and her last name has changed. And I see that the same gentleman that Monica cheated on me with, she's now married to and is expecting a child and living that whole life that I thought she and I should say, would have. But it didn't really faze me. I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's cemented. You know, that door is closed. But Cam turned to me and said, yo, D, I know you're going through a rough time. I'd rather you hear from me than anyone else. But I think when it comes to the whole Monica situation, I don't think you got the right amount of closure, especially the history that you all have, because you really, really, really love Monica. And he was just like, I know you was in love with Alicia. However, like, I think you need that closure. And I'm like, no, I don't need the closure. I'm fine, whatever. So literally 6 years pass. I'm planning an event, and who pops up in my email? Monica. And I'm very, very weary because I'm like, we haven't spoken in 6 years, seen each other in 6 years. I know that she's married. I don't want no smoke at all. And I needed her help, or could have gotten her help, but I didn't have any means of communication, nor did I, knowing what I knew, I didn't want to reach out to her in order to plan this event. So I said, I'm not going to disturb, and I'm not going to go out of my way. So what ended up happening was she reached out to me. I was very clear. I said, listen, I don't want no problems between you and your husband. She was just like, I would really appreciate it if you would talk to me. And at the time, I was praying and fasting, right? And I just purchased my dream home and all of that stuff. And I was really doing good. And I was praying. And this is why I say, be careful what you pray for God to help me to be like him, specifically to help me to be like him, to have a character like his. And, you know, I just want to be like God. So being like God, what do you have to do? Learn how to forgive, right? So I reach out to Monica, and I have a conversation. And it was good to have that conversation to get answers, because now we're older, we're wiser. And I'm saying to myself, oh, I'm happy that you're happy. Even though I was upset with Monica, even though she hurt me, I never stopped praying for her though. I was was good to get some clarity and get that closure, right? And just like leave that there. And then even with Alicia, we tried again for a third time. Spinning the block, I know, never, it's not good. We realized we were in two different spaces and places, and it just couldn't work. Better off as friends. Now, in between all of that, there were other women, beautiful women, right? But I remember making the decision that I'm no longer emotionally available. I do not want to get married. I do not want to have kids. I believe that ship has sailed. It is not for me. I believe that it's very sacred. I think it is great, but I just solely believe that it is not for me. It's just not for me, right? And before making that decision, though, I did say the next woman that I date, they have to love me more than I love them. There's no way. And the last relationship that I was in with a woman, I put that woman through hell. And she exposed me. And she basically challenged me and told me that I needed to go to therapy because I've been through a lot and I need to unpack it. And I'm just like, well, this is pretty interesting. Something that I should look into. Anyways, I'll tell you this, hurt people. And if you're not ready or if you're not emotionally available to be in a relationship, don't be. Because you're going to end up wasting someone's time. You're going to end up hurting that person. You're going to end up, hurting yourself. And it's not worth it. I had this thing of this odd complex that because I got cheated on, I wanted to cheat and to get the feeling and to see how it felt. And I felt like, I could understand and play the devil's advocate. So, being cheated on and then cheating and being the cheater, inflicting that pain on someone else and internalizing that pain, and it's just not good. So I would tell you all, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're not ready, if you're not whole, if you're not grounded, if you're not open to being in a relationship, a healthy relationship, a working relationship, one that is willing to grow and go forth and continue on your legacy in that way, don't do it. Do not do it. Don't waste your time. As for me, I'm just not emotionally available. I like being alone. I like being single. I have no desire to be in a relationship. I have no desire to have children anymore. Like I did when I was younger, wanted a big, beautiful wedding and 3 kids and da 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 da. But the way how the world is right now, I'm good. I'm good. I'd rather buy my dream house and travel and have my friends and a good companionship, but to actually get bounded legally by law and take a covenant in front of God, I don't want it. And it's not about, oh, you're afraid of commitment. Like, no, it's not anything about being afraid of commitment. It's just the fact that I just don't feel or have the desire to do so. It died. It really did. And when you get older, things change. And it's funny how all the individuals that I grew up with, went to school with, didn't want to get married. They didn't want to have kids, but they're the ones that are married and have kids. And an individual like myself that wanted to get married and wanted to have kids, I don't have it. And I'm glad. I think God's rejection is his protection. And maybe, being married and being divorced and having kids, I don't know. It really would have broken me as a man. I don't know. However, I do have to trust that, God has the best in mind for me. And he does give us the power of choice. And I made the choice that I rather be alone. I rather start looking into nursing homes and having, some beautiful nurses take care of me in my last days. I just don't want to have kids. I don't trust women. I don't trust women romantically. Be friends. We could be cordial. We could be professionally cool, but I don't trust women like that. I forgive, but I'm not gonna forget. I'm not gonna be played. And I just personally feel as if I enjoy my life the way that it is. I hear the stresses of marriage. I hear the stresses of being a parent. Of the world, the way how money is right now, it's really sad. How expensive food is and cost of living is, rent, your mortgage, your car payment, whatever other bills. It's not easy, right? So yes, it's good to form a sense of community, but romantically for me, I'm not interested. And what really, really did it in for me was the relationship that I had with my mom kind of faltered. So that really did a number on me too, wherein I was just like, well, dang, if my mom could hurt me like this, any other woman could be subjected to hurt me like this. And I know I shouldn't speak about the majority because there are healthy, whole women out there. However, it's a needle in a haystack to find. I've made up my mind. I've made up my mind. I do not want to get married. I do not want to have kids. I rather be alone. I find solitude in being alone and peace in being alone. Don't feel like I want to go in business with a woman, be economically bound and to her, and for us to be like-minded. It's just a lot, man. I just rather not put myself through that. I rather just be alone. And to really be honest, I've accomplished a lot by myself. A lot. More than the average married couple, to be exact. The only thing I haven't accomplished is had kids. And even with that, I was actively trying on purpose to get Alicia pregnant, right? Like I tried. It didn't work. It didn't work. And now looking at it, I'm like, thank God that I didn't end up becoming a father, because now I'll be tied to this person for the rest of my life. And now I'm not tied to anybody or anything. It's a good feeling. So as I continue to explore and venture out and see how things move and shake in this world, I just personally believe me doing it by myself and with God, a lot of people may not understand it. They may not agree with it and be like, oh, Dwayne, you have such great qualities. You are husband material. You'll be a phenomenal father. I know that. I do know that. But I don't want that. I don't have no desire or zeal for it anymore. So, as I've learned about spinning the block and feminine energy and hypergamy and all of that stuff, I just realized I could give good counsel. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been cheated on. I have cheated. I've, you know, dated. I've semi been engaged. I just haven't been married and had kids, and that's okay. It's all right. And I have no problem with it. Before I did, I was really depressed about it. I was really sad about it. But now, it's just me, myself, and I. And that's just what it is. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all learned something from this video. I hope you get to see it from a male's perspective. Men love just as hard, or sometimes even harder. And women out there, you don't know what it is to be a man or disrespect us, because at the end of the day, we do our best not to disrespect you all. Well, a good chunk of men. But I think we just live in a day and age where men are calling out a lot of women on their BS, and women don't like it. And there's a lot of women out there that are calling men out on their BS, which a lot of men don't like it, or have actually even accepted it and was just like, well, this is who I am. So it's either you gonna deal with it or you not. It's your choice. So I think right now, being a millennial, there's a lot to learn, and seeing how generations before us and generations after us are basically integrating and communicating and moving within the dating realm, it is a pretty interesting thing to see. And for me, the dating apps and the pictures and the posts and the this and that, that's not for me. I just like to meet a young lady, in person, chop it up, form a friendship, and then from there decide if we're going to date or not. But from me to you, again, hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed this video. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Until next time.